Hello and welcome to Capacity TV. My name is Saf Malik. I'm the Senior Content and Insights Manager at Capacity. Today I'm joined by Michael Wheeler. Michael, you are the EVP of the Global IP Network Division at NTT DATA. We are at ITW 2026.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Michael, the Global IP Network is one of the world's top tier backbones. What do you think truly sets NTT DATA apart from other major network providers?
I think the biggest thing is actually that is the fact we're global. So we offer our service in 5 continents and 45, 50 cities around the world. And the customers that we serve really span kind of 2 types. Some of them are geographic to a country or region, but most of our biggest customers are global customers. So they like to have the same experience, the same network operations center, interaction, the same set of routing configurations and communities, those types of things for their use anywhere in the world that they connect to us. I think that global profile works very, very well for the customers that we tend to serve.
You have one of the most extensive IP networks in the world. What are some of the challenges and then some of the advantages of running what you said was truly global infrastructure?
So I think one of the advantages is obviously kind of the global aspect to it. That's certainly a benefit and a feature that our customers really appreciate. I think the challenges of that are obviously also the case. You're operating in a bunch of different countries and a bunch of different, regulatory environments and a bunch of different currencies and all those types of things. And it really is a 24/7, full operation every minute of every day. So that's a challenge. It's not easy. And when there is a disruption, there is some kind of an issue, whether it's geopolitical or whether it's a network related issue or an earthquake, that can have repercussions across the network. It isn't just isolated in one spot. So that's also a challenge that we just kind of have to make sure we're able to address and proactively build in resiliency and proactively, put in contingency structures so that we can minimize the impacts when they do sometimes occur.
Recently, we've been seeing cyber threats grow in complexity. What do you see the role of global carriers in protecting critical network infrastructure?
Yeah, I think we have an obligation as an industry to certainly provide that for customers, but even to be collaborative about it as well. So our network security team is not just operating in an isolated fashion. They're interacting with a lot of the other networks that are out there. When there are security related events, especially things like DDoS attacks or those type of things, we interact and we collaborate with those other networks. The internet is an ecosystem. So while we're certainly competitive in that environment, we also need to be cooperative as well. And we have a lot of great partners that are, have that same mindset and same approach. But that's, I think, as an industry, our obligation. And, each company ultimately has their own set of products and services they offer to customers. We feel like we have a very comprehensive set of options for our DPS service, DDoS protection service. And ultimately, that's, our kind of go-to-market answer to that question is that's what we offer to customers.
And from your perspective, what is driving the biggest changes in global internet traffic and connectivity today? And how is NTT preparing for that?
So right now, I think that the biggest thing we're seeing is just continued use of the internet at large. We certainly, we wouldn't be able to pinpoint specifically that there's this big increase of AI specific traffic, but we certainly see traffic growing on a very consistent basis, year over year, month over month. And that, just drives certain amounts of challenges and certain amounts of work that we have to do as an organization to prepare for that. But that's, those are probably some of the things that are the most significant in regards to the global side of the business.
I wanted to ask you about the GLF paper, which is about AI backbone of global connectivity. As the leader of Tier 1 global network, what are your thoughts on the paper?
Yeah, so the paper was an interesting piece of work done inside the GLF, and I think it was a very, for that organization, for the GLF as a group to have the discussions around that. I think, there are parts of it that I think are, certainly under, I would agree with the fact that they exist. I think some of the projections or prognostications, we will see. We'll see how those things shape out. But I think that ultimately being aware of the reality that AI will have some impact, will certainly have change and cause us as a group of industry, colleagues kind of work through that together. That's, I think, the biggest benefit of a paper like that. And it creates that discussion.
We are in such a forward-thinking and forward-looking industry. I wanted to ask you, if you had to predict one big transformation coming to global internet infrastructure in the next few years, what would it be?
I mean, so I would certainly have to go back to AI and what we believe will be transformation. Setting aside the traffic for a moment, I think that's somewhat obvious. I think the operational side of the business and how we'll continue to get better and improve on how we're operating the network and how we are, building out the network will certainly continue to be shaped in new ways by AI that we haven't really used in the past. And our network's been in service for roughly 30 years at this point. And so there's a lot of things we've done many, many times over and over again. How we do that is starting to change with AI, how we actually build, how we actually develop software, how we're building operational approaches and models. Those things are changing, and that's pretty exciting, actually.
Michael, super discussion as always. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks very much. Good to be here.
And thank you for watching Capacity TV.